Well, I'm going to do this video today from my office. It's Monday. Here it's Lundi Gras. And a lot of people aren't working, but I'm working. And I just had, it's midday, it's around 1 o'clock. I just had a very long morning session. And today the thoughts that I have are twofold. It is a Monday, and I had kind of said that on Monday I'd be talking about my work. I started to say obligations, but I think that might be a Freudian slip because what I really wanted to say was I want to be talking about my work goals and things that I want to do. And today I have two very different thoughts that are kind of hanging on me right now. One, and they're very different from each other. One is that um, there are a lot of men in this society who continue to feel a great deal of shame about seeking help for themselves. Um, and there are a lot of men who are suffering from abuse in silence because of this sense of shame, and this sense that they don't deserve to get help, or that they will lose something in starting to talk about their suffering. And that is poignant, because that is really an example of what we talk about when we talk about toxic masculinity. Some people refer to toxic masculinity as how men will pass on toxicity to their relationships with women or other men in their lives or their children, or what have you. But a big part of toxic masculinity is the toxicity that is within men who have been given the message that they're not allowed to feel their feelings, they're not allowed to cry, they're not allowed to show any kind of weakness, that have to conform to strict gender roles, and on and on and on. And I am reminded in my office regularly, particularly with my immigration consulting clients, that toxic masculinity is indeed quite toxic for the men who embody it. And it's really kind of heartbreaking sometimes to see the suffering that comes from that. And, also the great meaning that comes from being able to hear someone's story and say, you deserve help. You deserve to talk about this. You deserve to cry. You deserve to feel your feelings. And I'm going to sit here with them, and we're going to consider this a safe place for those. It's a lot. And so that's one thing. I have my heart today is just really open, and it's a very meaningful thing to be able to allow someone to tell their story and to have it heard, and so that's meaningful. So the other thing that's on my mind is very different from that, but related to it. That today for me is a good reminder of why it is that I really do need to move my work world into the kind of work that I want to be doing. I've been doing immigration work for 20 something years now, and it's super meaningful to me. But I just feel, as many therapists do in their different kinds of practice, I feel kind of more weighed down by it than I think I should. And again, while I have these incredibly meaningful experiences here, I also recognize simultaneously that I really need to be letting those go and to take on the kind of work that I want. It's really just extremely hard to manufacture the time it takes for me to build the other kind of work that I want to do, while also needing to continue doing this work at the same time. Time is a it's a valuable asset, and I just don't have all that much of it because I'm stretched pretty thin. But because of some logistical challenges today and just the weight of the work, it's just a reminder to me that I really need to keep focused on trying to move my practice more in the direction of therapeutic work, of teaching, of mind-body skills work, and allow other folks to take on the immigration work. So it's a real, today was tough, and for a number of reasons, and I just am reminded that that's very important for me to continue to state that as my intention. So that's where my thoughts are today. I'm going to spend the afternoon trying to just kind of take some of what I've heard today and just process it and compartmentalize it, and keep moving forward, and try to have an afternoon with my daughter doing some costuming, and with myself I have some other work I need to do, so that's what I'm going to focus on doing. So there's a song that I'm going to add to my playlist that is so meaningful to me that it's hard for me to even talk about it without getting tearful. But it's a song by an artist named Michael Kiwanuka, who is British, and I think it was my first Newport Folk Festival when I was really feeling a lot of feelings, put it that way. And I went to this stage to see him, and I had never heard his music. I didn't know who he was. It was kind of random, but it was nearing sunset, and there were shorebirds flying all around. This is on it's on Rhode Island, on Newport, and in front of the water. And he came out and he played, I think he started his set with this song called Love and Hate. And it's just an incredibly meaningful song, and it's about shame. It's about a lot of things, but it's about just saying to, at least my interpretation of it, is about saying to yourself that I'm worth something, that I don't want to suffer anymore, that I have a lot of shame, and but I want more for myself, and it's incredibly beautiful, and I kind of have it in my back pocket all the time when I think about therapeutic songs. And having heard the story I heard today, it just resonates with me that this is the song that I want to play on my playlist today, or add to my playlist today. And it's just, to me, it just kind of goes out. Anybody who hears it, I hope, hears a message of hope and redemption in that song. So that's the song I'm going to choose. And for me, the mind-body practice that I wish I could have shared with this particular client, but the work I do doesn't involve me doing therapy with my immigration clients. I refer them for therapy, which I did a lot of work today on for that particular purpose. But if I were to be able to sit with this individual, I would do the mantra that I have done, and I think in previous videos, and that I've done with my clients in my office in different manifestations of it. But it's the practice of sitting, and breathing, of course. And anybody who's watching this who wants to come up with their own statements that they need to say to themselves, this is, extraordinarily flexible as an exercise. But the mantra statements that I would use for this type of situation is, I am here, I matter, I am worthy of taking care of my needs, I am worthy of love. Those are the statements that I would do. And I think that I've written those down, and I think that even for my own self, I am going to practice a mantra practice tonight, where I sit, and I sit quietly, and I say those sentences, and I say them 3 times each. If I were doing it with a client, I would say the sentence and ask them to repeat it in their mind or even out loud. But that's what I'm going to do tonight, and I'm going to do that in honor of the client that I just worked with, and also for my own self, because it's a message. Those are messages that I need to hear as well, that I am here, I matter, I am worthy of taking care of my own needs, and I am worthy of love. We all need those messages, certainly. So that's the mind-body practice I'm going to do tonight, which is to sit quietly and say those mantra sentences and pause and think about them as I say them, and just give myself that little gift this evening. So that's